Interesting stories. Interesting people. Welcome to the Humble Badger Podcast.
Thank you for listening to this podcast today. You can follow us at The Humble Badger on Twitter and Facebook, or at The Humble Badger Podcast on Instagram. This episode is brought to you with the help of our promotional partners at Modern Mississauga Media, exploring Mississauga through the lens of the 21st century. Find out more at modernmississauga.com. My name is Pablo Dawson. I am a dramedian and a D-list celebrity in this city, and I am your host for this episode. And as you know, we always start off our episodes with some kind of random fact. I found out that the stage name of one Frances Ethel Gum is Judy Garland, who, of course, for those of you who do not know, is an American actress, singer, and dancer, and in a career that spanned 45 years, certainly one of the icons in Hollywood history. But it's funny that these days, stage names are becoming less and less prevalent. A lot of people want authenticity, and so stage names, especially ones that are not related to your real name, sometimes are not around. However, back in those days, it was quite common, and Judy Garland, I wonder if she would have been as big of a star if her name remained Frances Gum on stage. Ooh. I'd love to know what my co-host thinks.
Oh, that's gummy. Wow. Judy Garland, she's one of my favorite actresses of all time. Mm-hmm. Hello, it's Melissa Manish. So proud and humbled to be your co-host today, Pablo.
You see what she did there?
Yes, well, I gotta be on it, right? Gotta be on that beat, especially that salsa beat. I am a salsa coach, confidence coach, best-selling author, and international speaker, and I am so glad to be here. Thank you, Pablo.
Well, thank you for being here. And so you are a fan of Judy Garland.
I am. Like, she is, the black and white movies. Mm-hmm. I used to watch them. My babysitter would actually have us watching a lot of those types of movies, Wizard of Oz as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, good times.
It's interesting. And I'd like to know if our guest maybe feels that she is a fan of Judy Garland.
Well, I am also humbled to be here, and my name's Judy. So, hello. I think
you see what she did there.
Humble Badger Podcast and Judy Croon is appropriate. Love Judy Garland, and it reminds me of the Oscars. I know we're sort of talking pre-Oscars, and this will air after. So, I'm going to make a prediction and say that Renee Zellweger is probably going to win Best Actress for her portrayal of Judy Garland.
Ah, interesting. Mm-hmm. Well, you heard it right here, folks. We can see if she's there. And of course, Judy Croon, you are a comedian as well as a keynote speaker. You do a bunch of other things, don't you?
I'm fortunate, yes. I do my keynote speaking workshops, relieving work-related stress with humor. Mm-hmm. And I'd still do comedy on the side to raise funds for various charities. Comedy's a great way to put a fundraiser together. And,
yeah, for sure.
And I've been very lucky. I've been very lucky to do the things that I do.
What do you prefer to do if you had to pick? Like if somebody booked you for an event and said, Judy, it's up to you. You can either do a session of comedy, or you can do a session where you do keynote speaking, which can be funny. What do you prefer? Is there a preference?
That's a really, really good question. I would say the ideal gigs are when someone contacts me and they say, can you come in and do a keynote? And then at nighttime, can you do your comedy?
Why not both?
Got to corner the market.
That's right. Double the fee too, by the way, folks.
That's right. Double digits. So Judy Croon, this is amazing. You are an accomplished speaker. I had a chance to take a look at your comedic stuff as well. I heard some 7 ingredients for like what was this? A stress-free humor? Like, what is this?
Yeah, well, you know what? It's, as Dalai Lama says, humor is one of the pillars of joy. Right. Mm-hmm. So for me, relieving work-related stress with humor, I incorporate humor, positive attitude, healthy mental activity, healthy physical activity, family and friends, and teamwork. Mm-hmm. Some major pillars there. I think I hit 7, but it's just
counting.
Something like that. Who's counting? But it's the idea of using
listeners.
Comedy to get the message out there. Mm-hmm. When we laugh, we relax. When we relax, we learn. So I love to share information, But the comedian in me likes to sort of, when the audience, you feel like, okay, they're starting to drift off, hit them with some comedy, grab them back, and give them some great takeaways.
You do that at family events, don't you, as well?
I do. As soon as I see Pops dozing off there, I'm like, okay, hey, everybody, here we go.
So basically, you're also an author as well. You've done some books, Stand Up in 10 Steps, which is a hands-on workbook for comedians and anyone who just wants to be funny. Do you really think it's possible for anyone to be funny? Because that's not been my experience.
Well, you know what? I say I leave no comedian behind. And as you know, I know that you're being very humble, but you're a very funny person. You kind of know the process. I honestly believe that if you can talk about yourself, we can make it funny. And who doesn't like to talk about themselves? And even if you don't like to talk about yourself, we're going to find the funny in it.
Right. Yeah, for sure. So
that's a scary process, Pablo. I'm not sure. Are we going to go there?
What we're going to go?
The process of finding out how funny you are?
Well, I found out I was funny, obviously, when I was very young, and people would point and laugh at me. But then I realized I probably shouldn't have worn that to school. But it is what it is. It was a different time.
Oh my goodness. We have to ask Canada's keynote humorist, of course. How did you arrive at that name?
Judy Croon?
No.
Judy Garland? What?
Judy Garland.
Canada's keynote humorist.
Oh, Canada's keynote humorist. It sort of was a combination of doing the stand-up comedy, but bringing in sort of a more corporate sound to it. So Canada's keynote humorist has a nice ring to it, but it also says to the client, look, you're going to get some comedy, but you're also going to get some serious takeaways. Because stress is serious. So you've got to find the funny in the stress.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do you find that when you're booked for these corporate events, do you find that you being a former comedian gives you an advantage over, say, for lack of a better phrase, a regular keynote speaker that they might feel is, well, you know what, do you feel that entertainment is an important part of educating a group of people for a corporate event?
Absolutely. I think there's a huge part of our brain that we're not using right now, our right, bright, creative side. And when we laugh, we relax. When we relax, we learn. And when we're laughing, we open up that potential in our brain to not only see the bigger goal, but seeing the steps that lead towards the bigger goal. And humor is a great pathway to that.
Right.
It's really great to feel people in a conference relax, laugh, and then be open to some information.
Nice.
I feel like I'm a success coach, if I could say that. It's really, really interesting to hear people's fears when they get up on stage. Now, do you ever get any little tickles and butterflies in your stomach when you get up on stage?
Well, you know what? As you probably know, when you're not nervous, you're afraid because you almost need that adrenaline rush, right, Pablo? You need that rush to get you up there. If you don't have it, you're too relaxed. It's like, okay, something's not feeling right. So I look at it as a good thing.
That's why I always have Jameson nearby, just in case.
And that too, of course.
Sip of courage, It's
I always have my boot flask. Come on.
I love that.
For sure. Judy, you, of course, are extremely busy. You've done so many things. You continue to work very hard. How does Judy Croon unwind? Does she croon herself?
Do I croon myself? You know what? A little karaoke here and there has been known to kill some people. So, yeah, that's not a good thing.
It's a good event. Killer karaoke with Judy Croon. You
That's
can host
right.
that.
Ooh. Hashtag that.
And you know what? I heard one of the best quotes once that there's no problem out there that can't be solved by walking. And I walk at least an hour and a half every day. That's my way of unwinding. And
even in the cold?
Even in the cold, put a jacket on the dog and we're out there walking. So it's a great way to exercise, but that's how I process information. That's how I think. That's when I listen to the Humble Badger podcast, right?
Everybody wants to hear that ding. So yeah.
So good. I'm going to take that tip. That's a really good tip.
I think it's time to see what other tips and tricks she has via rapid fire.
Okay.
What do you think?
All right.
I like it.
So, Judy, do you remember how this works?
Give me a rundown again.
So basically, we're going to fire questions at you rapidly. It is a tongue-in-cheek segment, though, listeners. As some have pointed out, rapid fire doesn't go very quickly, you know. I'm like, yes, that's because I always get distracted and I want to interject my 2 cents. So, but other than that, we're going to try and fire questions at you rapidly. Are you ready?
I am.
Well, question number 1. Judy Croon, do you like Frank Sinatra?
Like the music, the person, not so much. Some controversial stuff out there about old Frankie, but love the music.
Frankie Blue Eyes? Ooh.
Yeah, I do like the music too. I'll go with that. My question is, nice car or nice home interior?
Nice home interior.
Oh yeah, why?
Yeah, you know what? A car is a car for me to get from A to B. I have had Hondas my whole life. They've lasted forever.
Right.
And those are my best investments in terms of getting from A to B.
Shout out to Honda.ca.
Yes, that's right, Honda. You know it.
We want that sponsorship, Honda. Come on. Help us out.
And because I went with Honda and I had Hondas that lasted forever, I got the good home. So the home interior is important.
Electric car or regular car?
Absolutely. The next car is going to be Honda.ca, an electric Honda.
It's a hybrid, which you can use to go to Melissa Moniz's salsa hybrid lessons that she can help you with coaching as well, right?
Perfect.
Yes, please. All under the sun, 3 in 1.
Everything ties together. So this is an interesting question. I know this usually will take a little bit of thought, but what commercial convinced you not to buy the product that they are pushing?
Diamond and Diamond. Who probably won't be my next sponsor. Yeah. God hopes I don't need them in the future.
There were no diamonds hurt in the process of this podcast recording.
Exactly.
Yes, lawyers should not do their own ads.
Yeah, or their own tunes and jingles. They should get Frank Sinatra to do it or something.
That's right.
Sure.
Oh, man. And if you were to social media or regular media?
Social media. I like social media. It's a great way to get a message out there. Boom, boom, boom. And regular media is a bit addictive, for sure.
Okay. Well, I think those have been some very good questions for rapid fire. Now, Judy, it's time for the next segment, as you well know, because you are a listener of the Humble Badger podcast. We will be going into trivia, and of course, because we're so imaginative, who are we kidding? All of our listeners have told us they love the dad jokes and the puns because we own it here at the Humble Badger podcast. So obviously your topic is crooners.
Okay.
Okay, so what was the name of the informal group of entertainers centered on the Las Vegas casino scene that were singing and crooning, and they met at the Los Angeles home of Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall?
Was it the Badger Pack?
No, it wasn't the Badger Pack.
Oh, was it the Rat Pack?
It was the Rat Pack, that's right.
Woo!
The Badger Pack is much nicer, and it includes Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. So, yeah, the Badger Pack is a little bit different. Since we talked about old Blue Eyes, Frankie Sinatra there, can you please tell me that on the best-selling music artist lists, where is Frank Sinatra today?
Where is he? Is he number 1?
No, he is not number 1.
Don't understand the question.
No, it looks like he's about number 10. Number 10 on the list.
Number
but that's
10. All
see,
right.
This is the point of the trivia, is not necessarily what you know and what you don't know. It's about what we can all learn together.
Okay, so can I guess a couple of the ones that might have beat Frank? Do you still have a list in front of you?
I do have the list in front of me.
Rapid question.
And we're talking about what's the category? Crooners, or we're talking about all-time music?
All-time music. This is under the reason why there was some discrepancies, because there are acclaimed sales and total certified units. So in total certified units,
that's what I thought. I was going to say, if it's total certified units, then that's why I picked number 1. If it's total certified units, yeah, definitely number 10.
Okay, well, no, it's total certified units.
Oh, no.
Total certified units is actually...
like you know it.
He's more like 20, but in claimed sales, he's higher. But yeah, so your final question for the trivia portion, as we mentioned, the Rat Pack, obviously Frank Sinatra was part of the Rat Pack. Can you please name 2 other members of the Rat Pack?
Sammy Davis Jr., Dean Martin, and... Oh, that's all I need. Okay.
That's all you need. You just got the 2. The others were Peter Lawford, Joey Bishop, and according to our crack research team, others.
Okay.
Well, that's all the time we have for the this particular episode of the Humble Badger podcast. I want to very much thank our guest, the keynote speaker, the comedian, and the coach, Judy Croon.
Woohoo.
Well, thank you very much, Pablo, Melissa. It was wonderful chatting with you, and look forward to doing this again sometime.
Excellent. We would look forward to having you. And on that note, of course, I would also want to thank our co-host, Melissa Moniz. Thank you so much for being on the podcast today.
Well, thank you. You're just pumping up my confidence, aren't you, Pablo?
That's what I do.
Good. I'll bring the chips, you bring the salsa.
That's right. I thought you were supposed to bring the salsa.
It depends what kind.
That's right. That's
the
right.
Metaphors.
Okay. I'll bring that type of salsa. I would also like to thank our promotional partners at Modern Mississauga Media. They're all about looking at Mississauga through the lens of the 21st century. Find out more at modernmississauga.com. For any inquiries about our program, please visit thehumblebadger.com for contact information or send us a message through social media. I want to thank our crew and thank you for tuning in. Signing off from the set here at Trax Ahead Studio, my name is Pablo Dawson. Wherever you are and whatever you do, remember to follow your passion.
Thank you for tuning in to the Humble Badger podcast. For more information, please visit thehumblebadger.com. The Humble Badger podcast is produced by the Pablo Dawson Company. Context matters. See you next time.